Season 9 of Shark Tank kicks off with a 2-hour premiere, 8 Eastern on ABC. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm not just saying it because the gentleman to my right is sitting here. I think it is the most real of the so-called reality competition shows on television. Real people pitching real ideas to real people with money, making real business deals on the spot. And the man known as Mr. Wonderful on that show, Kevin O'Leary, joining me here on the show in person. Good to see you, sir.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So how did you, I guess, how did you make your money, for people who may not know your background?
I sold the learning company to the Mattel toy company back in the late 90s for $4.2 billion. That was the first of many deals. I've had some great successes. That was one of them, and great failures, and that's just the nature of entrepreneurialism. You get some winners, you get some losers, but you keep going.
And then how'd you hook up with Shark Tank?
Met Mark Burnett, was working on a show with Discovery Channel in England. I flew over to meet with him at Shutters out in the beach. And we talked a lot about, everything else except Shark Tank. But we became friends. And he said, why don't we try this? And in the first 3 years, nobody watched it. You couldn't get a dog to watch Shark Tank.
Is that right?
And the show was canceled 3 years in a row. And in the fourth year, it exploded. Because I think it was timed with what was happening in the economy, where we were having a major catastrophe in the financial sector. Mm-hmm. Remember the whole meltdown in the market. And people began to realize that, being an entrepreneur is just as risky as working at a big company, and yet you'll own it. And so it became a powerful supporter of the American dream, I think.
Yes.
And what are you watching when you watch Shark Tank? People ask me this all the time. You're watching the pursuit of freedom. What does it mean to be successful in America? You're free. And I think that will remain visceral and powerful. And I can't stop watching it myself, and I'm in it.
It is really just an incredible watch, because it's genuine. It is genuine, because you are definitely competing against everybody else that's sitting on to your left and your right.
That's right.
And there are real people with real ideas, with real hopes that, quite frankly, you frequently dash with your own zest, if you will,
Rich,
your own zeal.
I say this all the time. I'm the only shark that tells the truth. That's the way I look at it, because if you're encouraging somebody to go pursue an idea that has no merit and is going to fail, you're just letting them waste their family's money. And so all this kumbaya crap, there's no room for that in business. You either make it or you don't. You either make money or you lose it. It's very binary. And I can't stand it when the other sharks say, look, I'm not going to give you any money. You keep doing what you're doing. I'd prefer to say, look, this is going to zero. And the sooner you take it behind the barn and shoot it, the better.
Yeah. And Cuban sitting on this set, too. Would you ever want to own a sports team? Does that seem like a good business idea to you, to own a sports team?
I looked at 2 deals, and I dug into them. And what I learned about, I don't care what franchise you're in, you can be in NFL, you can be NBA, you can be in the hockey business.
Yeah.
The premise is you buy the team, you lose money every year, even if you win the championship. And when you sell it 10 years later, you get a massive capital appreciation. Very few professional teams actually make money. Maybe the original 6 hockey teams in those markets, the Boston, the Detroit, those guys. But all the expansion teams are on the cusp. You can even win a championship in basketball and make no dough. But what's the franchise value worth? When we saw that LA deal for over $1 billion for basketball, it just tells you it's all about capital appreciation. So you got to have a lot of money that you're willing to support the losses every year. And I don't necessarily love that, because I'm thinking this bubble could burst one day where in 5 years later, the team isn't worth more than it was 5 years earlier.
Mm-hmm. So which deals did you look at? Can you give me
moving the Phoenix team, the hockey team, out of Phoenix to Quebec City? That was really interesting until Bateman shut it down. And I was willing to be part of that syndicate. It was a really interesting deal. I think, I don't know if I'm disclosing something out of school, but I think our purchase price was around $300. And then when we went to the other owners, they said, not a chance in hell.
Well, if it was $300, I'd have been in.
No, it was, what you love about it is, would I like to own a professional team? Yes. Just for the bragging rights of going to the game and sitting in my box and saying, this puppy's mine. But,
this is great. It's a vanity play.
But it's totally a vanity play. But, when you get to the place in your life when you can actually afford to do that, I think it's cool. I mean, I really worked hard on that one. And the trouble was, to make money, you got to move it to a market where you can build a new stadium and you're going to have a ton of corporate support. Quebec City, it considers themselves one of the original six territories.
Yes.
You know, Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins. In hockey, that is where the action is, and you sell it every game.
Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, and we'll talk about Beanstocks, one of your new apps, shortly here on the Rich Eisen Show. Mark Cuban has said he would not buy stock in the NFL. Would you?
Yes, I would. I think. I think every fan wants. You know, let me give you an example of the value of the NFL. Nobody thought the London games would work. The biggest merchandising now, the biggest tailgating. Every seat sells out in London every time you take two teams that play over there. Mm-hmm. The brand is global. That tells you. And what is the pinnacle of sports? It's Sunday football. Do I ever miss a Pats game? Never. So, would I like a piece of the action? Yes. And so if there was a way to let fans buy their team, like throw 20% out to ownership, you'd buy the shares. You'd never sell them. You wouldn't even give a damn what the operating income was, because that's how powerful and visceral that connection is to your team.
Why is your connection to the Patriots? When did you become a Patriots fan, Kevin?
Because I moved to Boston in '92. My kids were born there. I got into the games, the whole journey of the Pats and the trials and tribulations, the last Super Bowl, best football game in the history of mankind. And it'll be very hard to ever beat that. Do you remember that third period?
I was physically there, man, and 28-3, it was toast. It was over.
There were guys leaving the party I was at in Boston, and in their cars, turning around and coming back into where we were watching it, saying, I can't believe what's happening here.
Well, people left the stadium. We were watching Patriots
and they weren't
fans
getting back in.
They were not, no.
That's the whole point is, it ain't over till it's over. And if Brady hasn't taught that lesson to everybody, that's why, I just like watching him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how long this can go for. The guy's 40 years old, but man, what an athlete. Is he not the best quarterback in history?
Kevin O'Leary, well, also, that's a Michigan helmet on my desk.
So get rid of that. Set it on fire.
Why is that?
Listen, we got to support the team. This is the year that I would love to see the Pats go all the way again. One more time with feeling.
Okay, but that's a Michigan Wolverine helmet.
I understand. I want you to support. I get it. I get it, but he's now.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got it. No split.
No, don't take your energy in a different place.
No, but I mean, Tom Brady in that game set the record for most prolific passing performance by a quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
With the biggest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl, to win the first ever overtime game in the history of the Super Bowl, to win the most rings by a quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl.
It's not enough for me.
It's over. But in terms of him being a GOAT, he's the greatest.
No, he is the greatest. But it also, like Kraft as an owner.
Greed is good. You do sound like Gordon Gekko right now, Kevin.
I want more. I mean, the fans are rabid. We want more. We want more. You go to Boston, go to any of the bars, and we want more. We want it again. It's like a drug. You don't want to give it up.
So you being a big Boston guy, Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, one of the newest members of the Shark Tank, is one of the most beloved athletes in the history of Boston sports, Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
What is A-Rod?
I like your skepticism.
What is it?
Yeah.
See, you and I are talking a similar language right here.
Yeah.
What's A-Rod been like in the tank?
I was surprised, I was surprised. I competed on a deal with him, and I beat him, which I really enjoyed. And so, I can take a stab at him right now, but he was a pretty good shark. And obviously has a pretty interesting acumen in business. He's very heavily involved in real estate. He understands return on investment. Most of these athletes that come on don't get the basic principles of investing. Rodriguez was different. He really nailed it, and he was great TV. I mean, I think he'll get a lot of fans on the show.
So which shark do you like beating the most when you're in the tank with one of the sharks?
Well, the shark I really like the most is Mr. Wonderful. I love that guy. but I will say about, Barbara and I have had an interesting relationship for years, and I always say this: the only reason she gets anywhere on time, including Dancing with the Stars,
yes, look at her.
She's on right now, right?
Yes,
is because I bought her a new broom.
Oh my gosh! And what is the most lucrative deal that you've done in the history of the Shark Tank?
You will hear about it today.
Okay.
It will be the largest exit in Shark Tank history for the most cash ever. A huge deal, and I think it will break today.
Okay.
And it's perfect timing because we are this afternoon into a heavy promo cycle for season 9.
Yes.
And I think it'll hit the wire right in the middle of our press conference.
Is that right?
And it wasn't timed that way.
Okay.
And we are talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, as a former ABC and Disney employee, to hell with them. But let's break it right here.
I can't do it.
Come on now.
It's sequestered, and it's a public company that's acquiring one of the Shark Tank companies. It's huge. It's going to be this deal is huge.
All right, let's talk about beanstalks in the meantime. Tell me about this app and what people who might think that they don't have enough money to invest can do with this app that you're talking about.
So what Beanstalks is an app on Android or Apple that lets you download to your phone. It's free. But my biggest concern is I crisscross the country, and I'm teaching engineering classes now. These are the brightest men and women in America, right? And I say to them, okay, guys, let's say a third of them are going to start a company. Let's talk about investing. What do you do with your own portfolios now? How are you investing for your future? Because people say, oh, it's too scary to invest. I'll tell you what's scary. You're 65, you don't have any investments. So I want them to take incremental amounts like $50, $100, put it aside every week and invest it for the long term. And they say to me, how can I invest $50? Apple's 150. I can't even buy one share. And that's when it hit me. I said, what if I can create an app that lets you buy fractional shares of stocks and build a portfolio, $20, $50, $100 at a time? Here's the math. The average income in America is $52,000 a year. The after tax, you should say, whatever I take home, I should take 10% and invest it. That's about $3,500. No bank is interested in helping you invest $3,500 a year, but I care. So you download Beanstalk, and it lets you buy a stock, any stock you want. There's 1,000 stocks on the platform and hundreds of ETFs, which are a bundle of stock like a mutual fund, and put it to work. Start investing. Learn. As you watch your portfolio's value change every day, up and down, you're learning about investing. That's why I created Beanstalk. And everywhere I go in America today, I tell the kids, download this app, set it up, it'll take you 5 minutes, put in $20 and start to invest.
And go to, again, the Apple App Store, Google Play Stores. It's available for all phones. It's called Beanstalks. Now,
Beanstox. Right.
Yes, Beanstalks. STOX at the end. Now, I'm sure you've been pitched when people walk on the street, right? People walk up to you, or they feel like you're too unapproachable. Okay, every day.
And often I say, don't quit your day job.
Okay, well, the gentleman over there, Mike Del Tufo, in the Callaway hat, he has what he says is a slamming idea for an app, and I'd love to take a break, come back,
all right,
and turn the Rich Eisen Show studio into a de facto Shark Tank.
You got it.
Mike Del Tufo, are you ready to pitch
ready.
Kevin
I'm ready
O'Leary?
to roll. I am totally ready to roll.
Come on, Mike.
Chris Brockman and I believe you are not.
I
Okay?
believe you're
I know
not
you guys
ready.
don't, because you never believe in me, ever. They don't believe in me, Kev.
Cannot wait.
They never believe.
I believe in you. Bring it on.
Has
ready to
anybody
roll.
But
successfully?
remember, I'm the only shark that tells the truth, so get ready for the truth.
No, I'm ready if you want to kill it.
Have you ever been successfully pitched by somebody who referred to you as Kev before starting the pitch? Would that be a first?
Is that bad?
I would prefer something with more respect, like Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful. Oh, I mean, all in. All in.
Oh gosh, this is going to be fantastic.
Come on, Mike. You got that.
Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank will hear a pitch on an app from Mike Del Tufo. Next, here on the Rich Eisen Show with Jerry Seinfeld, not far behind. Okay, welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, and again, Beanstalks. Make sure you go and download that app right now to make sure that you can invest smartly despite whatever you have in your bank account with Kevin O'Leary. Are you ready, Mike Del Tufo?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Is the microphone on? I mean, because you're the audio executive here.
No, I'm going to have someone else
All right,
mix.
so for the radio audience, Kevin O'Leary, thank you for sticking around right
No
here.
problem, I'm ready.
Mr. Wonderful is still sitting in the guest chair next to my desk.
I'm
got my
nervous
taser.
for Mike.
Mike Del Tufo is now going up
You
to the
guys don't realize I can be in front of people when I have an idea.
Okay.
That's this good.
Focus.
See all my people over here?
Focus. You
Go
have
ahead.
Mr. Wonderful of
Yes,
Shark
Mr.
Tank
Go
right
ahead.
here.
I'm ready.
Okay, are you ready? Mike Del Tufo is standing at a microphone that's about, I'd say, 20 feet away.
Yep.
Looking right at Mr. Wonderful of Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank. Go for it, Mike Del Tufo. Go ahead and pitch
About
him.
7 years ago, I just moved to Santa Monica in the second apartment I was in, and I'm sitting around.
Who cares? Get to the point.
Okay, so basically, I was a single guy sitting in the apartment alone with a couple other people, and I'm like, what happens if like something happens to me, and 2,500 miles away, my family's there, and they don't know? I could be sitting in the apartment alone, dead for days. So I came up with an idea for an app called Just In Case that would be basically you download it, and you could check in with this app, and other people could see that A, you're alive still. You could basically be tracked with it. And in theory, basically, it would keep you, people knowing what's happening to you. So, I started thinking about it, and it came up. And basically, you could do it with kids, adults, old people. There's 30 million people living alone. So the app runs in the background of your kid's phone. So you know when every time the phone turns on, you could look at it, see that you've checked
And
in.
just to get the whole story, before I completely eviscerate you.
Go ahead.
How would you make money doing this?
Subscription per month.
People are going to pay per month.
99 cents per month. Very cheap. $12 a year.
Okay, so here's a scenario.
Yep.
Like you're in your apartment, you die. Don't you think the neighbors are going to smell your rotting corpse?
Oh, no. There was actually a person in Santa Monica that sat for 8 days, 2 buildings down from me, before people knew that person was dead.
That's the worst idea.
Not only does this have zero merit, the chance that people actually want to contemplate their mortality and pay 99 cents a month doing it is crazy. No, don't quit your day job. Absolutely not.
There's no way it could happen?
No, not a chance. No.
So this is like a.
Isn't that Find Your iPhone?
No, Find Your iPhone would not let you know.
Exists.
Think about it. If your mom calls you for 2 days and doesn't get an answer, she's probably going to call the super and say, "Go check on his corpse." Think about it. They don't need 99 cents a month for that.
But in theory, wouldn't you want, if it's something that you don't have to do,
Mike,
other people can check
when you're
in?
dead, you're dead. Who cares?
But just in case.
No, I won't care. There'll be a new guy.
Right, won't work at all.
No chance at all.
Okay.
Oh, good try, Mike.
I tried.
Good try.
I tried.
We have some nice parting gifts for you, Mike.
What do I
Thanks
get?
for playing.
What do I get? I want to know what I get.
Where does that rank in terms of ideas that you've been pitched, Kevin?
Pretty well at the bottom. That's the worst idea. One of the, maybe the worst idea. Maybe there's a chance to bring Mike on Shark Tank with this. Let me check in with the producers because
please.
I would love to see that moment in the bright lights when he pitches this.
Please.
On the other hand, Barbara may invest. You never know.
See? Yeah.
So basically, that's like a human being GPS. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You want to LoJack someone.
Bottom line is, at the end of the day,
How does the app know you're dead?
The app doesn't know you're dead.
You
what
have to
happens
tell
is
it you're not
the
dead.
app would tell
Not
you
dead yet.
that you're not checking in. Every time you unlock your phone, it would ping, and you put people on a list that know that if your mother's in Florida, she could be sitting in the house. You know that at least she's checked in on her phone. If you're their kid, you don't have to talk to him on the phone. You don't have to call him. And if it's a kid, the kid.
If you think if you're worried your mother's dead, why don't you call her?
Well,
Call
let's
your
say
mother, Mike. Call your mother.
But let's just assume that you're not going to call. People don't call their mother and father that live 2,500 miles away
Mom,
every day.
I just want to make
Every
sure you're
15
not
minutes.
dead. Are you kidding? You should call your mother every day.
No. I'm talking about all day. You don't know.
Oh, you want to know the exact moment your mother
you can
dies.
check in. You know that they've actually. Exactly.
Thank you, Mike.
So she logs on and says, I'm dying.
Oh, man.
Mike, maybe we should call it I'm not dead yet.com.
There you go. We're
Workshopping.
We're workshopping. with
Workshopping
Kevin
this.
O'Leary. Thanks.
Horrifically bad. Really bad.
I tried.
Oh God, I have not laughed this
That was
hard in some
painful.
time.
By the way, he sat on this idea for 7 years.
The idea's dead.
Yeah, the idea is dead, Mike. Can it check in?
Check on the corpse of that idea. Thank you for coming on, Kevin.
I really
this
appreciate it.
is a blast. Again,
Wonderful.
I love what you do and how you go about it. And that show is Shark Tank is awesome. And Beanstalks, everybody should check it out on the Apple and Google Play stores. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it.
You got it. Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank again. The season 9 2-hour premiere is Sunday, October 1st.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to move Week 6 games to Saturday for that wedding you have to go to.